Welcome back to Mike and Sandy's Adventures. Here we go on another adventure. We are working on a D4 Caterpillar. The water pump started leaking and I put electric start on this one. So I got to pull the pony motor and everything off the top and cap it up. But I got the water pump off. I got it tore apart and I got it all cleaned up, got my gaskets made. It's easier to make gaskets when the pump's all tore apart. That way you don't have nothing to work around. But we'll be rebuilding that today, and there'll be videos of putting it back on and taking the pony motor off. So we're working on the floor today because my garage is kind of full of Dozer parts, extra pony motors. Pony motor there, D2, and there's a well drilling machine that we're going to use up north. That will be coming up too in later adventures. But this is what I got laid out to rebuild. I got new bearings, new seals. You see there's my gaskets. And somebody was asking me the other day about these shim punches. They come in a set like that. They're for like, I used to rebuild dies and stuff and use the shims to move things up and down and side to side. So that way the press would cut right. But I'll get right back with you. I'm going to get this camera set up over top of me. Everything's all clean, laid out. And of course we're working on the floor because everything is full. We got tools, benches. Seems like any flat space I have it gets covered with something. So we'll be back. Alright, first thing first, we're going to put this seal in. It's the first thing that goes in, and I'm putting the lip up because it seals in this joint here and not back there. So we're going to put this seal in first. It goes clear to the bottom. And I got a driver here, just a piece of pipe. I'm going to try to get it centered there. I don't want to mess it up. We're just going to tap a little bit here. I think it'll be all right. Going down pretty evenly, but I also got a brass punch here we can use. Just working it around. Now I'm going to drive it with this. I like this a lot better because it sits down in there and it covers the whole thing. That's bottomed out there. So that's a good deal. Bearing goes in next. They upgraded the bearings because the other bearings were all open. You can see them. Now they're a sealed bearing. So there's no way you won't ever have to grease this. There's two bearings, so I gotta kind of work them down through because there's one in the bottom. Now we're going to line it up in the bottom. I do have a piece of pipe I could try to use on that too, but I don't know. It's one of my pullers I made. Yeah, we got a little crooked, so we're going to use our brass. Revision, because this one's got threads and this one's got a bolt on the end. So we're going to try to use this one first. And I got to get that key out of there real quick to put in this one. But we're going to try to use this new shaft and see what happens here. We're just working away, working around. And it's in there. It's all the way down. Now there's a spacer. Put the spacer in there. Got that. And there's a C-clip that goes in next. I got to get a pair of pliers. But there's a groove in there. You just pinch it together. You gotta find the groove here. Oh, I gotta take that spacer back out. It's in the way. Where the other bearing stops there, it just snapped in. It's kind of a keeper for the next bearing. And there's the other bearing. Like I said, it's just a keeper. Seat it with a brass punch here. Got that seated. So that's pretty good. And I bought a new shaft, and there must have been a. This is a half moon key, so we're gonna put it in this slot. Try to. That worked out good. And then we're going to put this back in. It holds that bearing, seats that bearing. What I want to try to do is put that shaft in from the bottom side. We're going to tighten this up. It's also where I don't have an expander wrench, so using a brass punch that down in there. But before I do that, I want to put a little bit of grease on that seal in the bottom. Put a little bit of grease on here. This here is sealed by the hub, so, and it's got a lot to it, so we're putting a little bit of grease on that. I'm going to turn this pump up. The seal's right there, so we're going to put a little bit of grease around that seal. Don't want to mess it up. This should slide in pretty easily. I don't know though. thought I was going to. Might have to press it in. No, it's going. Just had to get a little bit more violent with it, I guess. It can't come out because the shim's in there, so I don't want to beat that over, so. Yep, first one's in. Now we're gonna feed it through both bearings. That comes out the front. Looks like I gotta go a little more. That might be all she wrote. Yep, I think she's in pretty good. She turns free. Turns real nice and free. We're going to put this snap ring in here real quick. Should go right in, I hope. I think it kind of locks that thread. I might have to go a little more. Less. We'll get that here in a little bit. But now you got another seal that goes like that. Take the brass punch, kind of put it in there. It's bottomed out. Now, little spacer washer goes on next because that's spring loaded for when you put the impeller on. I didn't get a new impeller. Figured this one would work. So, and the shaft's a little bit shorter, so I take a brass punch to that too. I want to get it good and seated. I do have a press. It'd probably be easier to do it in a press, but take longer. So I'm taking some shortcuts. Plus, with the bolt being in it, tighten it down. It should be okay. We're going to get a socket here real quick and beat this in a little bit. Readjust the camera here a little bit. I got you on a cardboard box. I just want to seat that a little better. Spins nice. New bearings. Now this is where I don't know how it's going to work. I tip you up here a little bit. Because it's got this locking tab. I got this washer who goes here first. I got the locking tab. And I got a bolt. So we're going to put the bolt in there. I'll bend these flaps back up here. I'm going to use an air impact to tighten that up and kind of get it on that key. Everything still spins freely, so we're good. Feels pretty good. Then we're going to put this little lock back on this nut. Might have to back it off just a little bit. There now, it ain't gonna come off there, I tell you that. That's got that air impact's got quite a bit of ump to it. And there we are. We've got one rebuilt D4 water pump. So I'll bring you back when we're out and gonna put it back on. Like I said, I got my gaskets cut already. We got to get it in there. It's gonna kind of be a pain in the butt, but we'll get it done. So until we get out there and get ready to put it back on, maybe I'll just end this video as a water pump rebuild and bring you back on the next video of putting it together and pulling the pony motor. Until next time, we'll see you later. Alright, we're back. It's going to be kind of a pain in the butt to try to get that belt and get that fan on. And that, I put a little bit of silicone to hold the gaskets up there. And this is Mike with Mike and Sandy's Adventures. So I'm going to do this off camera because you might hear some bad words, but I'll bring you back as soon as I get it up there. Alright, we're back. I had a heck of a time getting this on here with the gaskets. I would probably do it a different way. But we had a set flange here and a set flange here, and it was hard to get together. But I got to tighten the fan up here. There's 6 bolts in the top. Then we got to tighten the fan bolt, the fan belt up. But we're just going to kind of work around here. Tighten these up, and we'll go back around them. Just make sure everything's seated. And I don't have to put grease in that grease fitting over there because these are sealed bearings. The other ones weren't. The rollers showed and you had to grease them. So I'm taking it, they kind of updated them a little bit. Kind of a tight area to work. And to tighten the belt up, we got to spin this sheath. It's got 2 locking bolts that go in there. So we're going to do that next. soon as we get this fan all tightened up here. Not a real good view, but I'm just snugging them all up for now, just to make sure it's square on there. Alright, now we can start tightening. We got all the way worked around there. There's 6 of them bolts, so there we go. We're back to the first one again. That's done. Get a little bit better view of what I'm going to do here with this sheath. Try to get you a better view. I'm going to take the sheath. It threads this way, and as you thread it, the pulleys are tapered, so it pushes the bolt up to tighten it up. So I might have to have Sandy come out and help me for this one. I don't know. Well, she's going. It'll loosen up here in a little bit. Should go fairly easy. And yeah, I'm using a brass punch, so that helps. Actually, had to heat this up with a torch a little bit to get it to move the first time around. Yeah, I'm gonna go get Sandy to help me, so I'll be right back. We've actually got it off that hard part. We can spin it by hand now. Pretty much all it does is shove the bolt up in the pulley to tighten it up. You want the belt tighter, you just tighten that sheath up a little more. Now I'm just using the fan blade and holding this. Then we'll put the locks back in it. might be able to go one more. I don't know. Well, we're going to go one more. I'm just going to tap it around tight. Don't want to get it too tight. I also don't want it too loose. Yeah, I don't think we're going to make that. That's too tight to go to the next one. No, maybe not. Yeah, see, I'm flying the whole motor over when I do that, so that's a good deal. There we go. Water pump's on, and it is done. So that's a win-win here. Now we just got to take the pony motor off and block up, make some plates and block it up. And I haven't figured out how I'm going to quite do all this, but we'll do it as we go. Yeah, I'm probably going to end this video here and do a different one on the pony motor. So, until next time.